Good morning, everyone. All right, well, happy St. Patrick's Day. I wish someone had told me that before I got dressed. Maybe I'd put some more green on, but oh, I've got feedback. Hang on. There we go. So, let's see. We've got about a little over 45 minutes to the bell, so nothing really, we're not in any hurry right now. I've got to import my trades from yesterday, which I'll do here in just one second. So yesterday was a green day, which is good, but I did give back about a third of my total gains. I was up at my high about 45,000 and finished up 31,000. So gave back about 15,000 off the top, which, still finished in good shape, but churning commissions a lot this week. Commissions this week have been higher than usual because I've been trading some lower price stocks. Lower price stocks with larger share size, commissions go up. So I think I'm still red on the week. Let me just import my trades here and we'll know for sure. So let's see. So as you guys know, I use TraderView for my metrics. And then you can use TraderView with, almost any broker really. Just gives you a better sense of your trading, what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so let's see. So it says my import's being processed. All right, so I'll put this up here. Okay, let's see, let's refresh. All right. So, so minus 26 on the 15th, plus 31, but then let's look at net because commissions, right? So you can see I'm basically back to flat. So minus 30 and then plus 27. So I'm actually still down 3,000 on the week coming into today. So, that's where I sit on Wednesday. It's not the... it's fine. It's okay. It's a red day, but I recovered quickly. So kind of back to square one here for the week. It's been a little while since I had a nice kind of big green day. I thought yesterday I had a chance at it, and I did try to kind of step up to the plate, and then it just sort of slipped away. I wasn't able to hold on to it, which was kind of a bummer. But that's the way it goes sometimes. So, and I'll just look at my stats here, just do a quick check-in. So from $583 on January 1st up to just under $8 million in gross profit and about $7.1 million net. So commissions and fees since 2017, 17, 18, 19, 20, 4+ years, they're sitting at about $900,000. It's not insignificant by any means. It's a little more than 10% of my profits that go to fees and commissions. But I would argue, and this has kind of always been my opinion here, I would argue that I probably wouldn't be up this much if I was using a broker like Robinhood or something like that. I don't think I'd be up this much because I don't think I'd be able to trade as aggressively. I don't think I'd be comfortable trading as aggressively without direct access routing. I think that I really would be at a disadvantage. And we talk about that as being an important tool for an active trader. And yeah, Ryan, so I pay income tax based on the net profit minus the fees and commissions, but a good portion of this has been in a retirement account. So for that reason, on that portion, I don't have any income tax right now, which is great. But, again, I always have to say these results are not typical. My experience trading is not typical. When I did the $583 small account challenge, I was already a profitable trader. I just pressed the reset button and challenged myself to do this thing. So you shouldn't expect that you're going to start with $583 tomorrow and turn it into $7 or $8 million in 2 years, 3 years. That would be extremely unlikely. All right. Not to say that you can't trade with a $500 account, but to produce that type of result would not be typical. So let's see, let's look at our gap scanner here. We've got our leading gapper, which is ZCMD. This one is up 81%. This kind of has a similar look to a few of the others that we've traded in the last week or so. It's a little lower priced. It's got 16 million shares of volume, so it's high volume. This, however, has a well-defined history of these red days. Red, red, red. These big red volume bars, I don't like that. I will say that it's holding over 3, which is good. Wish it would just snap right to the high. Come on. And then there. So, yeah, well, let's look at the catalyst because that'll help sort of understand how strong this might be. Renews contract with China Association of Health Promotion Educational and GlaxoSmithKline. Okay. I see. So, I don't know. I don't see a dollar amount assigned to the contract renewal, but you know, it's obviously moving higher. I'm not a buyer on it right here. You've got 2, 4, 6, 8 green candles in a row. I would definitely be waiting for a pullback. The first 5-minute candle to make a new high was at 313, and that would have been a risky setup, in my opinion, because you had that big red candle that was right before it. But that would have been a much better entry from risk-reward ratio. Up here, I don't like it. So that's our leading gapper. Second leader is Huge, Huge, and it doesn't look great. I mean, while you could, if you really wanted to, try to do a double bottom here, that's not a setup I would take as my first trade of the day. So that one's not interesting. IMTX 1492, and you notice all of these are slightly higher floats. 13 million for ZCMD, 30 million for Huge, 62 million for IMTX. AREC, 39 million. You can see that IMTX has made a bigger move. Also, when I open up the chart, I can see that it's not that far off from all-time highs, which are at 17. So from 15 to 17.25, yet granted, it was a red kind of sell-off. That's not uncommon of a IPO or when a stock first starts trading, if it's an uplist or something like that. So that's not crazy uncommon, but the float is higher, the price is higher, and so for those reasons, I'm not sure that we're going to see a huge move on it. Tumor shrinkage observed in 8 out of 10 patients. Anti-tumor activity. This is out of Houston, Texas, and Germany. It sounds interesting, but this is also, you know, this isn't like FDA approval. It's, you know, it's a data update. Again, it's not that that's not interesting and that sometimes wouldn't generate a big move, but I just don't know for sure. Yeah, okay, I see that. AREC moving up 1.3 million shares of volume. It's already gone from 420 to 520. It's moving fairly quickly. It's up 26%. News posted at 8:30. So for those that already sort of got a piece of this, you're in certainly better shape than me. Not a ton of trading history on this one. We go back to this area. This is very light volume stuff. So realistically, $8 is our sort of high. We're at 550 here. Yeah, so it's a mobile facility. And it's not always worth trying to analyze the news too much because some stocks like GameStop or others will just, despite news that doesn't seem that significant, will move quite a bit, and others with news that seems really great, like quarterly earnings up 100% or 200%, sell off. So you're kind of like, huh, that's weird. So I try to just trade the chart. This has already had a nice 5-minute setup there, which gave you the move from 465 up to 565. So you've got some good price action. Again, the float's 40 million shares. It's a little higher. High a day is 66. We've got AREC, IMTX, CVU is the next gapper. It's gapped up and sold off a bit. Got about 7 minutes until 9. So we'll see if at 9 a.m. we have some more news headlines that hit. AREC, some saying the float is 1 million on FinViz, maybe a bit lower than the data that we have here. High of that last 1 minute candle's 51. So the problem here is that you do have a bit of a topping tail forming, but we still have a minute left on this candle. So the low down there is 34. You know, there's a 16,000 share seller at 40. High of this current candle is 46. Could be something worth watching for a dip, but I'm just not totally sure. The challenge with the trade up here is that it's a bit extended on the 5-minute. So if it starts to pull back, can't really afford to hold through the pullback because a 5-minute pullback on this could be down to 5 or lower. You know, the 1 minute range is fine, but if you got the 5-minute pullback right now, it would just be too much. Let me check on FinViz myself. Let's see. All right, what do we got here? So they're showing, so this is sort of the issue. So they're showing the shares outstanding at 36 million, but the actual float at 1 million. And they're also showing 72% of the float is short, which is very high. That's very high short interest. I will say that. But at the end of the day, it's only up 23%. It's not up all that much just yet. So we'll see if it does start to open up. But that 5-minute candle closed. While it did close green, it closed as a topping tail. So, you know, a little bit of a candle of indecision there. First 1 minute candle to make a new high in this area, you know, back over 45.50. I mean, that's base hit stuff. On my first trade, usually kind of look for a little more than just a base hit, but you know, it could be something. I'll say if it breaks over 50, I'm interested, but we'll see what it can do. So first candle made a new high right there. It's up to 46, 47. And it looks like there's a little bit of a wall there, 47. Okay. All right. So you can see this thing's kind of hanging out here. Dips down, pops back up. I'll take a starter there at 45. I feel like it looks like it wants to break through 50. Adding a 60 right there, and I'm looking to see if we get that squeeze up to 75. The high of this candle is 68. So 68, 70, the next spots I'd look to add. Adding there at 68. Taking a little off the table up there. Cost basis is 55. Size down. So quick little trade there on this pivot. Considering the high there was 46 up to 70. I was a little aggressive there I added as high as 69 and 68. So I lost on those higher adds. My next trade on this would be if it can hold the $0.50, I'd look for a dip. We'll see if it can hold this level. You can see on the 10-second chart, it kind of dips and then pops back up. The problem is, of course, the 5 minutes still a bit extended. Low of this candle is 41. So we've got 541 there. So you see it popping back up a little bit there. Back in at 57. So buying that dip there, looking for the retest of 70. So over 65 is an add. Looking for the break of 65, then 75. So as it starts to move a little higher, watching 63, 64. Adding at 54 there. So buying the dip as it's holding right around that $0.50, and then over 65, 70, that's where I'd look to add for the next move up. Added there at 62 for the break of 70. So this is kind of curling here. That's what I like to see. Once we get that break of 70, I think we'll be in better shape for maybe a test of 6. So we've got 65. There's 64. Looking for 65, 66, 67. The break through this flat top here, and then up into the 80s. So let's see if we get that move. High of this current candle, 65. So So we've got 61, adding there at 61. So this is a 10-second little dip right here. So I try to accumulate on these for the break through the high. There's 63. I'm looking for the break of 65 and 66. There's 64, 65, looking for 66. I'm jumping back out. It's not breaking. Taking the $400 loss on it. Should have broken the high right there. Low, 41. See if we get a dip trade off the low back up to 50. News on SGBX, a new website. I'll keep AREC up on another chart, and we'll see whether or not it gives us a 5-minute setup as it's starting to pull back now. CVU, AREC. No, SGBX just doesn't seem to have any volume. It's not halted, there's just no volume. I mean, the headline of a new website isn't all that significant. Let's see, so we've got AREC, still gonna watch that. The volume weight average price is around 29. So I could consider a dip off that level, but I just don't know it. All things considered, those one winner, well, the first trade was a winner, the second trade was a loser. Need to wait for a 5-minute setup on it. ZCMD, which is still our leading gapper. This one's a little tricky. Its high a day is up here around 42. But look at that kind of, that right there is a nice sort of squeeze on higher volume. So it seems like some traders are coming back into it. First 5-minute candle to make a new high is 31. I don't know. Could watch to see if we get a trade on that or an opportunity through the highs. I don't know. It feels like it's that same issue of just low price stock churning shares. Sort of waiting for something to move a little bit more. But, sometimes on the other hand, it is just continuing to give, take stabs at these, and then eventually one of them does start to open up. Hey, Stephen, welcome. Thanks for being here. The thing with ZCMD is that it's going to have resistance probably at the $0.50, psychological resistance there. That would make sense. AREC. So our high is 70. VWAP is at 27, 29-ish. So there's 30 on the bid. So I did a dip trade there at 31. So that is a bounce right off the VWAP, the flat, sort of just right off that price. So that gives me a good entry on this, and then I can just give it a second and see whether or not it gets back above, I don't know, back above the $0.50. If it gets back above the $0.50, then I can start to scale in for maybe a retest of the 70s. So, here you're testing 50. if I was going to be aggressive, I would go ahead and add. I'm going to wait a second and just see how it bases out and holds this level of the VWAP. High of that candle is 50. Our 5 minutes not quite ready yet. So I'll add there at 38. So the reason I'll do that is because that's buying a dip. And then if we get the break over the $0.50, then I start to kind of get in the driver's seat for a move back up to the high. So let's see if we break over the $0.50 on AREC. My order's at 52 for the next trade, looking for the break through the $0.50. Good morning. Thanks for tuning in. By the way, those on YouTube and Facebook, I'll put up my disclaimer as always. Trading is risky. In case you didn't already know that, most beginner traders lose money. So you should assume that you will also lose money. And with that assumption in mind, trade in a simulator before you put real money on the line. I'm in AREC here at 34, and I'm looking for the break through the $0.50 of 550. It's up 28%. We've got a catalyst. First 5 minute candle to make a new high. We still have 2.5 minutes left, so I may end up holding it until then or may not. We'll see what it ends up doing. But if I was able to hold it for the first 5 minute candle to make a new high, then that starts to look even better for a move back to the high. So sometimes a dip trade, it begins as a dip trade, then it turns into a breakout trade. And that could be the case here. If I get that break through 50 in the first 5 minute candle to make a new high, then yeah, we're starting to look at a 5 minute breakout. And on dips, what I'm doing on this is I'm adding. So on little pullbacks, I'm adding. That way, when we get that first 5 minute candle to make a new high, I'll have a good cost basis for the breakout. So here's 48, there's 50. We've got 50 on the ask. Still have 90 seconds left for the 5 minute setup. So waiting for the 5 minute setup. But if it wants to go without me, which it seems like it does, now I'll watch the 55 spot. So high of that candle is 52. New order is at 55. If it can hold these levels, then I start to look for bigger moves. And on dips down here like this, I can add at 39. See, the good thing is that my average comes up just to 36, and the first 5 minute candle to make a new high is 1 minute away. So the first 5 minute candle to make a new high is the setup I'm really kind of after here. And then a retest of 570. So my new order's at 560. That way I'm kind of starting to line this up for a trade through 570 and then up to the 80s. Back of mind, optimistic would be that we squeeze up to 6, but we'll see on that. So this candle high is 52, and we have about 20 seconds left on the current 5 minute candle. So we're starting to set up our 5 minute bull flag of a pullback. First candle to make a new high. The first target will be a retest to high a day. Now some traders only trade 5 minute setups. So those types of traders here would be just starting to look for that entry. So I would expect we'll see volume coming in right here as traders who only trade the 5 minute would be buying right there, 60. So now I'm going to look for my add, 65 for the squeeze through 70. Watching, adding at 61 right there, looking for that squeeze through 70. So my back of mind target on this, are we going to get that test of 69? There's a 15,000 share buyer. I'm going to add again at 65 right there. Looking for the break of 70. And let's see if we get that move to 75. So I've added a little high and I'm looking for the breakthrough 75. Adding again at 64 on this micro pullback. I want to catch the breakthrough 70, which is our flat top right now. And I'm just going to hit the bid on it at 62. It should have broken on that little micro pullback right there. And so what I'll do is I'll reposition on a dip to add back. My cost basis was 47. New order will be at 72. Watching, adding at 57, dip trade. First 1 minute pullback here. We now have a well-defined sort of flat top there at 70. So I'm in at 58. I'll add here at 63. So now I'm going to start to scale in for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. And then a break through 70. There's 68. There's 69, 68. Looking for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. There's 68. I want to catch that trade through 70. So I'm going to add here at 62. By adding at 62, I'm buying the dip. Even though it's a small dip, it's a dip, and then I look for the breakthrough, first 1 minute candle to make a new high, through 670. So you see 68, 69. So just being patient, waiting for that breakthrough 70. I'm going to move this candle, move this over here. And I'll continue to buy dips on it. So we're coming back up again, 66, 67, 68. Here we go. There's 69. There's 70 on the ask. I'll take it off the table into the flat top. Sizing down a little bit. Adding on a dip at 61. We'll catch the pop back up. 64, 65. So my cost basis is 61 right now. I'm just going to hit it on the bid on the rest for now. It's a bid there, but I don't like that that's a false breakout to only 72. So I'll let it pull back again a little bit. If I can get a dip off the $0.50, that would work. Dip there at 52. So buying a quick dip off the $0.50. And then I'll look for the move back up to 65. I like the volume on this candle, high volume. So that's not too bad. The best entry on it was at 31. For sure. Well, it's just two different perspectives. I don't think it's that no one ever does it. It's just two different ways of trading. So we'll watch here, adding back at 51. Again, double sort of bottom at the support there of the $0.50. And taking that off the table. First 1 minute candle to make a new high, 62. I guess I could add there potentially. So this 5 minute candle is now closed green, but it's a bit of a false breakout. It hit a high of 72 and didn't go up as high as I kind of hoped it would. So if the 5-minute is not quite ready, to me it means the bull flag hasn't formed yet. So I'm usually waiting for the bull flag to form a little bit. So right in here, before this candle closed, all we had before it was a red candle. I wasn't going to buy the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. That would be getting in at 65, 5 cents under the high. So I got in on the dip trade and then had to wait for this 5-minute candle to close. I had to hold that whole 5 minutes there. You know, it's not a long time, but, you know, relatively. I had to hold there and then wait for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. So we've got about 8.8 million shares of volume on this. ZCMD, let me take a look. Yeah, so you do have support there at 309, which could provide, I mean, aggressively a dip entry, but I'm not sure. And I think that's a good observation. All things considered, AREC is only up 30%. It's not 75, 100, 150%. It's not a crazy big gain like some of the ones we've had in recent weeks. So you can see how that's a little pullback there. I hesitated on the dip at 13.14. Maybe it goes, but although it's a dip trade, the 5 minutes a little funny. And you're right, Daniel. You're absolutely right. So this will put me green on the week. Let's see. Oops. We'll just look at the month. All right, so yeah, so today will put me back, you know, back to green, back through the high here. If I stop right now. But of course, stopping right now, it's 9:18. It feels early. AREC is on my chart here, just on the right. So I'm going to keep that one up. Let's see, so we'll go like this. So we've got a little bit of a descending, sort of a wedge here on this one, this consolidation. Huge, I see it moving up. It's still below the volume weight average price. SSY from yesterday. Pulled back too much later, but boy, that made such a big move there from 4.5 up to 750. I mean, that was huge. I thought we were going to get more out of it, and then it just totally failed, and that's where I gave back $15,000 as I was trying to trade in this pullback area for the next move higher. So, you know, there you go. You're getting that starting to resolve here. So I'll take a long at 33 because I think at this point now it looks like we're getting confirmation as we break this level for a retest of 40 on ZCMD. So I'm buying as it's breaking the descending resistance. On a dip, I'll add, and I'm looking for 45.55. So I'm in at 33, looking for 37, 38, 39, 40, and then up to 42. This one's up 83%, 82%. So there's 35, there's 37, there's 38, there's 39, Can I get an add through 42? Yes, it's high a day, but that could give us that squeeze right through the high up to 50. Adding at 40 right here, I'm going to go for it, the squeeze through the high up to 50. So let's see if we get that break of 42. This is nice. I mean, this is a good high volume breakout right there. There's 43. I'll take some off the table at 41 just to be safe, and I'll hold the rest and then put a new order at 53. Let's see if we get that test. Sizing back down a little bit more, $2,000 on it. The high of this candle is 43. I'm going to let it dip. First pullback. Now, again, had I stepped up to the plate and bought this at 314, 315, right off that ascending support, I would have been much better off. In this case, I waited for it to be squeezing through the highs to add. Basically, to be squeezing through the descending resistance and to look like I had a shot at squeezing through the highs. So our high is 44. This is the first pullback after that fresh breakout. So this is an important level to watch. Still holding at 34, partial position. Usually when I take some off the table, I'm going to try to sell on the ask. That's going to be giving me the best price. Because if I'm still holding a partial position, then I obviously still feel good about it enough that I don't need to hit the bid. So sometimes I'll hit the bid if I feel like I need to, but so this is dipping back down a little bit. Let's see. I added right there at 20. Actually, cost basis is 30. So I'm trying to do a dip off of this descending line, which was previously resistance, but now should be support. And let's see if on that first then candle to make a new high, the high of this candle is 35. If over 35, we get a retest at the 40s. So I'll put an order at 36 to add. 10 seconds left on this current candle, adding at 32. I'm looking for the break of 35 and then a retest of 37.38. So what I'm doing here is anticipating the first 1 minute candle to make a new high. There's 37, there's 38, and into that I took some off the table on the ask, which was the right move, brings my average, brings my share size down a little bit, and still holding the rest at 31 average. So does this go all the way back through 41, 42? Doesn't look like it. I'm going to sell the rest, in this case on the bid at 33, taking the rest off the table. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Jason's in the sim. He shows 84,000 shares total traded on ZCMD. Getting in, getting out, getting in, getting out. The only thing I would say is that you don't have enough profit to cover your commissions there. I would say your commissions on those trades so far today would be probably about $400 or $500. So, and just again, we realize that commissions are a factor and it depends on which broker you trade with. It's also certainly worth noting that as you are getting started with 10 shares, with 100, with 1,000, commissions become less and less of an issue. Usually as you start to get bigger share size, the profit you can make on 10 cents with 10 shares won't cover commission, whereas with 10,000 it certainly will. But just something to keep in mind. All right, everyone, so we've got about 5 minutes to the bell. I'll keep trading as soon as the bell rings. We do have some interesting things here. I mean, ZCMD, a little bit of a false breakout there. I don't like that this candle's turning red, but yesterday we did have some great opportunity once the bell rang, so I just have to kind of wait for the one. ZCMD, AREC, both are interesting, both are a little choppy. Neither are really super, super impressive. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky morning here. CVU, this one is curling back up. IMTX is also coming back up. Of course, IMTX, as we discussed, has some risk on it, but just given the price, huge. I just don't really think that that's... I see a number of people mentioning it, but it's got a long ways to go. Its pre-market chart doesn't look that great. So let me remind everyone over on YouTube and Facebook again, as always, trading is risky. It's easy come, easy go. You guys have, I'm sure, seen if you've been watching the channel for a while. Of course, some of my winners, but also some of my losers. In 1-2 trades, I've had some huge losses. So, and that's even after years of experience. So just be careful. Trade very mindfully. Warrior Pro students, we are going to resume class today at 11. We've got a session that we'll do at 11 a.m. So I'll see you guys over in the live classes at 11, and we'll keep trading here as soon as the bell rings, and we'll hope to get a little more momentum. All right, so again, please hit that thumbs up, those of you guys on YouTube and Facebook. Really appreciate you guys hitting the thumbs up and subscribing to the channel and sharing with a few of your friends if you haven't already. And we'll see you first thing tomorrow morning for the morning show again in the morning. So yeah, yesterday after the bell rang, I think I was up, I don't remember, 10 or 12,000, about the same as now, I think, when we came into the open, and then we had SSY squeeze up, and that's where I got myself up about 45,000 through that squeeze, but then gave back 15,000 as it started to pull back. So finished up about 30,000, doubled my gains from pre-market. Of course, on Monday, I was up 10,000 or so pre-market and finished the day down 26,000. So some days I keep going green, and some days, pre-market's all I have, and then it starts to roll over. All right, so it looks like we've got about 2 minutes to the bell. So do your pre-trading routine as always. Did you eat well? Did you sleep well? Do you have a couple stocks on watch that you like? If you do, what's the condition of the overall market? I'd say the market is warm, not crazy hot, but it's warm. We're doing okay. So we'll kind of keep making the most of the opportunities that we have. The ZCMD is up 82%, Huge is up 39%, IMTX 34%. Nothing up over 100% pre-market though, so that's warm but not hot. But we'll work with it. All right, so that's the game plan. We'll try to focus on the obvious stocks once the bell rings, watching those high day Momo scanners.